several years ago, many years ago, my husband took our young kids to the Science Center. We were living in St. Louis, Missouri at the time. And I thought, what could I do with my free time? I could have a break. I thought, I want to learn how to prune my apple trees. So I spent the whole morning watching YouTube videos on how to prune apple trees. Well, then I got on Facebook, because I still had a little bit of free time, and there was one of my professors from graduate school taking a class pruning apple trees. And I thought, well, I'd much rather be in a class than sitting here by myself. Like, where is she taking this class? So I messaged her, hey, where'd you learn to prune apple trees? And she said that the University of Illinois is offering beginning farmer courses in specialty crops, and told me how to enroll, sent me a form. I thought that'd be cool, so I went ahead and filled it all out and sent it in, and they accepted my husband and I. It's a year-long program, so I thought, man, we're in, we're here. So we drove 2.5 hours to go to this weekend class for the first one, and we get there and they reintroduced the whole class because we missed the first class. And come to find out, we're sitting in a group of people that, like, one guy grew 30 acres of pumpkins, and this other woman had a vineyard, and we're like, we live in a subdivision, and I grow spices, and I have a couple chickens in the backyard. Like, we probably shouldn't be in your class. But they liked us and they let us stay. So we were in this year-long class, and we learned how to grow all sorts of different specialty crops. And my heart was longing to come back to West Virginia, because this is where my family is from. And John and I were in the process of selling our home in St. Louis and looking for a farm in West Virginia. And part of this class required me to do a business plan. And one of the things we did was I looked all around the Charleston, Huntington area, and there was no you-pick strawberries. And we're like, that's something we'd really like to do, or maybe even another fruit crop. Like, you-pick fruits, there's just nothing around here. So I made my business plan for the class. They graduated us, and we began searching for a farm, and the Lord led us to this amazing property on Gabe Road in Clinton, West Virginia. And that's another story itself. And we just started working the property, getting the equipment that we needed. I had a lot of resources from the class that I took in Illinois, not to mention John Porter was in Charleston at the time, very knowledgeable extension agent, and people at West Virginia State were willing to help us. Like, we just had so many people in our area with the extension agency helping us get started, and we've learned a lot as we've gone along. So today we have over 8,000 plants in our field, and we're in the middle of our pick your own season of 2022. We have a lot of strawberries tonight. We've got the toughest people you can possibly meet picking strawberries with our picking appointments. And I love this crop. They're so delicious. And I love growing something that I know what is on it. Like, I know I'm not going to put pesticides on these. We're choosing not to fumigate, which is a step that is very necessary in many situations for growing strawberries. That's where you put a chemical under this plastic and it kills fungus and weeds when you do that, which makes it a lot easier to manage. But if you look in my fields, you're going to see weeds. We'd rather just work around them. I know it doesn't look very pretty like a magazine picture, but you know, there's no fumigants in here. And I have earthworms in here. They're still living here. So that's important to me. I want to grow something that my family will eat, that I know my children are safe eating, and that my neighbors are comfortable eating as well. So so here we are. We just had a dream to come back home and do something to bless our community, and I love it that I'm here. And thanks for being here, guys. So we've been talking about how somebody could start growing their own strawberries. So let me speak to somebody that maybe wants to grow strawberries at home, or maybe have a small patch on their hobby farm. This is what I would highly recommend considering. You can do a raised bed. You could build your bed out of cinder blocks, or you could just get some pieces of wood. You could even go as far as buying like a regular raised bed planter. I've seen people get the ones that are like a tiered one where they kind of hang in it. I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of those, but maybe if you have a bad back, maybe that's what you think about doing. You want to get good soil. You don't want to go cheap on soil for strawberries. I did a raised bed for a men's recovery home. My son did this for his Eagle Scout project a few years ago, and we worked together. We got, it's a horse manure compost, like a mushroom compost that we used mixed with topsoil. And we built the frame out of wood about 6 inches tall, and we put the compost mix in it with the topsoil, got it good and wet, and then we took a piece of agricultural fabric, and I'm talking like you go to Lowe's or Home Depot and you get that thick, really thick fabric that you might use in landscaping, lay it out on top of this bed, and take scissors and cut like X-shaped cuts, and then that way you can put a plant in there. And you want to plant your strawberry plants 12 inches apart. Some varieties will ask you to plant them 18 inches apart, but we like to do ours 12 inches apart. And just keep it watered, and you'll have a really good strawberry patch that you can use for years. Now, some people might get a little nervous about having that agricultural fabric on there. They might think, I want to replant my runners. How do I take my runners and keep running them? That could be a concern, but the agricultural fabric will keep weeds out for you and also provide some protection of your flowers and your fruit. Because if you have soil there, you run the risk of rain coming in, like it is right now, splashing on the soil and splashing up on the fruit or the flowers, which can cause rot. And that's no fun. Also, if they're in this box, you could protect it from all the animals that want to eat your strawberries. You could put up some T-posts around it, maybe put a net, maybe cover it. When spring comes, if it gets too cold and you want to protect your blossoms with a sheet, it gives you a lot more control. So that's what I would recommend for someone that's maybe living in a subdivision or possibly, you know, on a small hobby farm. And I've also known people that'll put them in containers or even put strawberry plants in their landscaping. I've seen that too. I've done that personally. All right, now let's talk about the person who has a nice piece of land. Maybe they've got a half acre or an acre, and they're thinking, hey, you know, I really like strawberries and I really like people, and I'd like to maybe do something where I'm going to grow strawberries on a large scale and invite people to come pick them at my house during the month of May or June or whenever they're going to come pick your strawberries. You can decide what kind of strawberry plants you plant to determine when people are going to come to your house. So let's say you're that person. I could spend days talking to you about so many details about how to start a larger scale strawberry farm where you would allow people to pick or where you would pick for orders. There's so many nuances and details and directions and equipment and everything, right down to variety of plants to, I know, mechanically, how do you run your tractor and what kind of tractor do you need? There's just so many different avenues you can go. What I would suggest for you is to begin to keep a notebook and do research. Visit pick your own places near you. Look for possible classes you could take at the Small Farms Conference in West Virginia that they have, even the Urban Ag conferences. Talk to other strawberry growers in your area and look for maybe some national meetings that you could attend where you can look and see what's going on in the science and the research with strawberry plants. And begin to start forming your own knowledge, your working knowledge about how you grow strawberries on a large scale. I can't possibly begin to share with you everything. What I can tell you is you are going to need some capital, some good liquid working capital. You could get a farm service agency loan, or maybe you have some money in a retirement account or an inheritance, or maybe you're just a really good saver. You've saved up some money and you're wanting to do something like this. It's very hard to scale up to the level where you're going to have enough for people to come in and pick without having some resources behind you. The equipment that we use, which you absolutely have to have in order to shape the beds, to grow them the way you would for a pick your own operation, is expensive. And it's hard to buy it used. Much of the equipment is used by the cannabis industry. So you're kind of, I don't want to say fighting it out with them, but the prices are at a higher price because you've got more people that are wanting the equipment for that crop. So that's what I would say is if you've got that dream in your heart, go for it, because so many people love picking strawberries, and they're, in my opinion, I mean, we need more growers in West Virginia, for pick your own. I mean, you could even look at doing blueberries or raspberries or black raspberries, or even peaches or apples. I mean, sky's the limit with pick your own fruits. I mean, wouldn't it be fun to go pick your own grapes? Wouldn't that be fun? There's just, even though there are some places in West Virginia, there's just not a lot of them. So there's room for you if this is in your heart and you're longing to do something like this for your community. But get that notebook and begin doing your research. It will take you some time. It took my husband and I 3 years from the time that we began to study how to do this before we were able to do it. And I'm talking 3 years of daily working at it. It was a very focused effort on our part. And again, it did take a lot of our resources to do this. So, and again, if you'd like to reach out to me personally, I'm happy to meet with you. I know the Gilkertsons from Sunset Berries are wonderful to talk to. There's another strawberry farm up in Williams River. He is an absolute wealth of knowledge. Plus, there's the national folks that can help you that do strawberries. So I hope that helps. Don't get discouraged that you've got a high hill to climb, but it's totally a beautiful view when you get to the top.
Welcome to the West Virginia Department of Agriculture's Homesteading series. In this series, WVDA planning coordinators collaborate with producers around the state to share the most up-to-date information on food prep, raising livestock, self-sufficient living skills, and much more for homesteading in the Mountain State. Their goal is to help people of all skill levels increase their knowledge for sustainable living or expand their farm business. The business development staff work to grow West Virginia agribusinesses and economy. West Virginia has a vibrant ecosystem of communities, small farms, and innovative organizations that support the agricultural economy. Our team's goal is to reach out with tools and partnerships to make potential businesses aware of the services and support the West Virginia Department of Agriculture and its partners can provide. Additionally, the business development team oversees our West Virginia Grown and Veterans and Heroes to Agriculture programs. WVDA planning coordinators act as local liaisons, coordinators, and facilitators helping develop agriculture projects and assist agribusinesses around the state. They participate in economic and business development efforts while addressing food insecurities and building resiliency in local communities. West Virginia Grown is the state's premier branding program for agriculture products. The West Virginia Grown logo indicates to buyers the product was grown and/or processed with quality ingredients in the Mountain State and that their dollars are going right back into their communities. We also offer marketing opportunities for West Virginia producers through our West Virginia Grown program. This program is free, and members gain access to the West Virginia Grown brand logo for labeling use on any eligible products. If you become a member, you'll be included in our producer database, our West Virginia Grown directory, market bulletin, and social media platforms. The business development team also includes the Veterans and Heroes to Agriculture program staff. Their priority is to provide support to veterans, law enforcement, firefighters, and first responders transitioning into agriculture via education, scholarships, mentorship opportunities, marketing, technical and business development support, and navigating available resources. The program seeks to further promote the development of agricultural industries, products, and marketing opportunities across the state.